Welcome to our nutritional podcast. My name is Matt Davidson, and with the help of my co-hosts, we're going to explore the importance of carbohydrates, their function, and the role they play in optimizing athletic performance. As the body's primary energy source, carbohydrates are pivotal to maintaining bodily function and facilitating sports participation.
The focus of this video will be centered around extreme endurance events, specifically the triathlon, and dietary strategies that can be employed to improve performance. By first discussing the significance of carbohydrates and outlining their recommended consumption, we will then investigate a variety of carbohydrate dietary strategies, providing specific meal plans which adhere to our recommendations.
The triathlon is an extreme multi-sport endurance event consisting of a 1.5km swim, 40km bike ride and 10km run. First established in 1974, the triathlon will go on to be listed in the Olympics in 2000. Since then, triathletes have undertaken various strategies to gain an advantage and overcome the challenges of the event. Taking up to an hour and a half to complete the elite level, most of the event is performed in the moderate intensity zone below the anaerobic and lactate thresholds. However, the prolonged nature of the competition means energy depletion is unavoidable. Athletes are forced to face the challenges of fatigue. An effective pre-competition diet is therefore significant in prolonging high-level performance.
So moving on to carbohydrates. Matt, could you tell us a bit more about their importance?
Well, carbohydrates are a form of macronutrient pivotal for maintaining blood glucose levels during exercise and replacing muscle glycogen. It's generally accepted that with a diet of high volumes of carbohydrate, it increases the muscle and liver glycogen stores, which is beneficial to athletic performance, while low muscle glycogen stores are associated with the onset of fatigue.
Government recommendations are quite precise. People aged 19 to 64 are encouraged to consume 267 grams or 333 grams, females to males respectively. Would you suggest that these values should be changed for athletes?
Yes, absolutely. The demands placed on athletes are significantly different. Recommendations for carbohydrate consumption vary from 3 grams per kilogram of body weight per day for light to low intensity activities, and then to 12 grams per kilogram per body weight per day for moderate to high intensity exercise. Therefore, your diet should be significantly altered to meet the training demands.
It's my understanding when talking about carbohydrates, it is also important to understand muscle glycogen.
Absolutely. Muscle glycogen is a storage form for glucose, essential for providing the mechanism by which ATP can be aerobically reproduced. Research has shown that exercise is seriously compromised when its storage is reduced.
So how can you as a new triathlete maximise glycogen storage prior to the event?
The answer to that question is simple. Undertake carbohydrate loading.
Firstly, could you tell us what carbohydrate loading is?
Carbohydrate loading is a dietary strategy used by endurance athletes to maximise the stores of glycogen in the muscle and liver. It is most effective for endurance events lasting longer than 90 minutes. Research suggesting that achieving supercompensated muscle glycogen levels improves performance by 2 to 3%.
So are there different types of carbohydrate loading strategies?
There are many variations of carbohydrate loading, often debated as to which strategy is the most effective. However, all the strategies follow an identical pattern, a large increase in carbohydrate consumption prior to the event.
What was the original theory?
Carbohydrate loading was first described as a classical glycogen supercompensation protocol. It involved maintaining low glycogen stores until 6 days prior to the event. A 3-day low-carb diet of 3 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, compensated by a high protein and fat intake, would then be followed by a 3-day high-carb diet of 10 to 12 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. This method showed an increase in muscle glycogen stores by more than twice the normal concentration, coinciding with an increase in endurance capacity. However, the practical significance of such a dietary training regime is questionable. The process is very strenuous, enhancing the risk of both injury and gastrointestinal distress. Glycogen depleting exercise is also required, a form of exercise that first-time triathletes would find challenging. Therefore, we would not recommend this exact strategy for first-time triathletes.
So are there other variations of carbo loading more suitable to first-time triathletes?
Yes, research has since indicated that supercompensated muscle glycogen stores can be achieved with less major dietary changes. 3 days of moderate carbohydrate intake of 5 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, followed by 3 days of high carbohydrate intake of 8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, compensated alongside a tapered training regime, was shown to achieve the same results. While more recent literature indicates such glycogen levels can be achieved without any glycogen depleting exercise or training alterations. Short-term high-intensity exercise bout followed by 1 day of high carbohydrate intake of approximately 10.5 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight per day was shown to attain supercompensated muscle glycogen stores within 24 hours. This was a significant discovery, outlining 1-day carbohydrate loading protocol can enable first-time triathletes to follow their normal training preparations up until the day prior to competition, while still optimising carbohydrate storage. As a first-time triathlete, the last thing you want is additional stress and pressure, created by carrying out a new form of training just to adhere to dietary advice. Glycogen-depleting exercise is strenuous at the best of times and can be a major distraction going into the event, meaning the adaptations of a one-day strategy could be the optimal process for such athletes.
Does this fully account for pre-event carbohydrate consumption, or should triathletes make dietary alteration on the day of the event?
Based on research, we would suggest a form of carbohydrate ingestion 3 to 4 hours before the event. Depending on the race organisers, carbohydrate supplements provided during the event may be severely limited, while the race itself provides little opportunity for in-race consumption. We therefore recommend that athletes ingest 200 to 300 grams of carbohydrates 3 to 4 hours before exercise to compensate for the unique demands of the event. However, it should be noted here that triathletes must choose carbohydrate meals that are easily digested and do not cause gastrointestinal discomfort during exercise.
So what are your overall recommendations for a first-time triathlete?
We want to provide an effective strategy which also minimises the need for any strenuous glycogen-depleting exercise, extreme dietary changes and any training alterations. We propose a 4-day strategy. This will consist of 3 moderate carbohydrate consumption days consisting of 5 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. During this period, no glycogen-depleting exercise should take place and the athlete's training regime should remain unaltered. This will be followed by 1 day of high carbohydrate consumption of 10 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. As this is the day prior to the event, no training or physical activity should be completed. Finally, 3 to 4 hours prior to the event, an athlete should consume 200 to 300 grams of carbohydrate comprised of meals that are easily digested.
The example we are going to provide is for a 75 kilogram male athlete, outlining key meals throughout the day, although there is additional food consumption post-training as shown in the intake timetable. However, this can be easily adjusted to meet your own dietary needs. Simply multiply your body mass in kilograms by 5 to calculate your total daily intake and adjust the portion sizes of the following meal plan. For breakfast, one option is a bagel with peanut butter, high in refined carbs. Bagels are an effective source of energy that are easily digested, while peanut butter aids in the maintenance of blood glucose levels and is comprised of a low glycemic index. For lunch, pasta served with chicken and asparagus provides 63.5 grams of carbs. Pasta is very rich in complex carbs, meaning the energy is released slowly and steadily throughout the day. Chicken acts as a source of protein, aiding post-training recovery. For dinner, salmon with mashed sweet potatoes, a meal containing 59.1 grams of carbs. Sweet potatoes provide the predominant source of complex carbohydrates containing vitamin A, preventing post-workout inflammation. For breakfast, toast coated in honey, assisted with a banana, dried apricots and milk contains a total of 146 grams of carbs. Toast and honey are easily digested, providing an instant energy source, which is well rounded with fruit on the side. For lunch is a well-known dish, spaghetti bolognese served with garlic bread, caprese salad and followed by grape juice provides 166 grams of carbs. Spaghetti acts as a high source of complex carbohydrates, balanced by the addition of protein and key vitamins. Garlic bread serves to further increase carbohydrate consumption, while grape juice is easily digested, aiding muscle fatigue, important just prior to an event. Baked beans served with steamed vegetables and bread provide a suitable alternate meal for dinner, adding 78 grams of carbs. Baked beans are the fuel source, while the additional vegetables provide the vitamins, minerals and antitoxins, maintaining high energy levels and hydration. The recommended amount of carbohydrates 3 to 4 hours prior to the event is 200 to 300 grams. It is advised that this comes from easily digested sources. For example, a sweet potato burrito containing sweet potatoes, eggs, black beans and steamed rice. White rice and sweet potatoes are sources of very high complex carbohydrates. They are both easy to digest, white rice specifically being low in fat and fibre.
It should hopefully become clear that the triathlon is an extremely challenging event, posing various physiological challenges for first-time triathletes.
As the body's primary energy source, carbohydrates play a key role in overcoming these obstacles.
We hope by following our advice and using our meal plans to adhere to your personal needs, we have helped you prepare and to be successful when the day comes.
This is our nutritional podcast for first-time triathletes. Thank you for listening.